No, wait, I need to dismiss the spirit. So do I. Where's the bathroom?
Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Sam Schreiner, and with me are my co-hosts,
Mike Karen
and
Chad Campbell.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, check out our website at screamsandstreams.com for more information about all the films we are looking at. Just a warning, if you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now. Check out the film and then rejoin us for our discussion. Today we're looking at Luca Bercovici's 1985 film Ghoulies. It scored 7% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's get into it. Mike's going to start us out with a summary.
All right. The IMDb summary is a young man and his girlfriend move into an old mansion home where he becomes possessed by a desire to control ancient demons.
Do they need to call it an old mansion home? Can they just say an old mansion?
Just move into a home?
An old mansion home residence.
Thanks for that, Mike. Now moving into our Sinister Sips. What are we drinking today?
Today's Sinister Sip is a vodka slime.
Oh, this brings me back.
Yeah, I remember
the
these.
den.
I thought it would be greener, but not really.
Huh.
But it's in recognition of the ooze and goo on the Ghoulies.
Right.
Cheers, y'all.
Yum. Oh, that's...
It takes me back.
Yeah, that's good.
Good. It's refreshing. All right. Thanks for that, Mike. That was awesome. We're now going to head into our first impressions. Chad, can you start us off?
Sure. What the fuck is this film? You know what? It was okay. I've seen worse. I've obviously seen better. I don't want to reveal too much because I'll get into the categories, but man, those puppets are just hilarious. Like, and the ooze and the overacting and the cheese. It's just every 80s B-C movie.
Yeah.
It is.
You could possibly think. Like, it just, I watched it and I chuckled out loud a couple of times. I think you'd want to watch this film with a bunch of friends just to insult it. It's not really one that's a go-to for me. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm standing on Ghoulies.
I would completely agree with that, Chad. At the end of my notes, so I take notes every time we watch a film, and the last one was, what the fuck did I just watch? Thank God it was only an hour and a half.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it was quick.
It's a tight hour 27.
There's a lot going on in that hour 27.
There is, yeah.
Was this both your first watchings?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. This is the first time I've seen it.
I've never. So, yeah, I'd never actually seen the film before. I'm still really confused as to whether or not it was a horror movie or a comedy movie.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I feel it was like the Wish Temu version of Gremlins, if that makes sense at all. I was like, what is happening? And I have seen Gremlins. And
that's perfect. Yeah,
so,
I totally agree.
Yeah, I was entertained throughout it. It wasn't very scary. There's a lot of what the fuck is happening here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun.
Yep. This is not my first watch of this.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, my friends and I back in the 80s, we loved all of the little like small demon or small creature horror movies. So
Right.
there was Critters, there was Puppet Master. If there was something...
Oh, I remember Puppet Master, and there were several of those.
Several, yeah. If there was any movie where there was like a little creature or something, it's like, we have to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm proud / ashamed to say I have seen the entire franchise.
Ooh, all
wow.
4? Is it 4 movies?
4 or 5, yeah. The Ghoulies,
Ooh.
yeah.
Well, dedicated.
Not recently, but
Yeah.
as a kid, I loved it. I just thought it was just like fun,
Yeah.
hilarious. I was a big fan of the Muppets. So the almost Dark Crystal-esque looking things were a joy to see as a kid.
Yeah. This isn't no Jim Henson production, though.
And rewatching it now as an adult, I judge my younger self. There were humorous moments. Yes, it was short, thankfully. I was so disinterested in this movie by the halfway point. I just wanted it to end.
Right.
And I got to admit, I watched the last 15 minutes at 1.5 times speed because that's
speeding through it. Yeah.
Because that was the only thing that was going to get me through this movie. I wanted it to be over now.
But the wizard scene at the end,
Oh,
the
man,
laser
you
beams.
have to see the wizards and the lightning. And
Yes, there's so much.
Oh, my God. And the cracking of the foundation that looks like foam. Like
There's so much. much.
There is so much to this film and so many questions.
I have so many questions, and we'll get into those. Thanks for that, Mike. Now we're going to head into our Tropes Hall of Shame. Mike's going to kick us off.
So my first two tropes deal with the opening cult ritual, and it's just every satanic cult now, there's robes and their faces are covered. So it's all of that. And then my second one was just, there will be a medallion that will protect a child.
Oh, yes.
So she puts it around.
It's
It's
like,
like,
take it off.
now you can never hurt him. That's what I didn't get. Like, it shocks the priest, but he's like, get one of your other followers to just take it off.
Yeah, just take it off. Like it's Chad, did you have some tropes?
Yeah, I did. Family member inherits an old spooky house.
Yep. I had that one as well.
And highly sexualized teens or perhaps college group, but they look pretty old to be playing whatever age they were supposed to be playing. Like, I don't know. I
assume college because he says he was going to drop
college.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he inherited a house, so I'm assuming
it must be college.
Right.
Yeah.
He had that Letterman jacket at the beginning, which just looked like something out of Value Village. It was...
Hey, I love Value Village.
I do too, but it was, I don't know, it wasn't in a great costume.
I also had the door opens to the basement, so let's go down there.
Oh, yes.
Especially with all the creepy satanic things everywhere. Just let's go down to the creepy basement.
Yeah.
I love how he's not put off by that at all.
Nope.
Like, I guess the father is speaking to him, but he's immediately attracted to all this stuff. He's like, oh, well, let's just repaint this and make the symbols and do all this stuff that we need to do. I was like, okay, there's no lead into this at all.
And he like opens the book and it's like creepy satanic stuff. Instead of being like, wow, my dad was a whack job.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
Yeah, I'm going to read this in every scene from now on.
Yes, from now on, this is all of my personality.
I'm in.
Sold. Mike, did you have any?
Yes, my next trope was the creepy oversized doll. So that ventriloquist dummy or whatever it was. It's always in a rocking chair.
That clown thing.
Yeah.
It looked like they were trying to rip off Poltergeist a little bit with that. Yeah.
And then my other one was I don't know who you are anymore. Right?
Oh, God.
To Jonathan. I see you as a stranger. Because this would never happen to the Jonathan that I fell in love with.
Right. Yeah.
And like, I don't really know the timeline of this, but it seems like it's like overnight. It's like they move in, they throw a party, then they do a ritual,
fast,
and then he's all of a sudden a changed
Well,
boy.
he renos that house in one day.
Oh, no, it's a quick. He's speedy. I'll hire him. All right, Chad, did you have any more tropes?
I did. My other two were not able to tell sex screams from being killed screams.
Ooh, I had that one too.
And I love it's actually one of my one-liners there. Man, that chick really is a screamer.
Yeah. It's like, okay, they're screaming and yelling and they're like, whoa, wow, they're really getting it on. I was like, seriously, she is screaming in pain. And then the other
that's
one
a good one.
is using dark magic to bring people back from the dead. It's always a good idea once they're dead to, try to revive them. Because, I mean, that happens how many times in these films?
Yeah.
Gonna put her on the altar, say some chants, and we'll bring her back.
Yeah. It never ends well. Never.
Not to mention, sorry, before we move on.
No, please.
The fall on the stairs, that killed her? Is that supposed to kill her? Because that's when why? And he took her downstairs and she was out.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what the heck that was. He did say, I can bring you back. And then the father said, I can bring her back. And he raises her up. It was just weird.
Yeah, it wasn't violent enough to crack the neck.
No. It was like a pratfall or something. Yeah. I could have bounced up.
I would have been fine.
That was a Chevy Chase SNL fall.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
My last trope was that the candles were already all lit.
Yeah.
There were thousands of candles, and they go downstairs and they're like, someone had to work hard to light all those candles. Mike, did you have any more?
I have one last one, and it's just the weird, creepy guy who just stares and doesn't talk.
Oh.
This is when Jonathan and Rebecca first get to the mansion home, and they're walking around and they see the grave, and Wolfgang walks up. And doesn't say a word.
No.
Just stares.
Yeah.
And stares.
This is the caretaker.
And then he just gets dismissed. It's like, you can't say hello.
Yeah.
You can't, put this poor woman at ease that is just confused. Nope.
Well, I like how they said, he's the caretaker, sort of. That was, I was like, what? Okay.
Well, and I love how the grave, this is my father. Did he say this is my father's grave? They go to that grave and there's a big pentagram on it. It's like there's no alarm bells ringing. ringing at this point. Jesus.
All right, now we're going to head into our one-liners. I'm going to kick us off here. The first one for me comes from Toad Boy. I'm so unhappy. Toad Boy wants some sweet meat for his tum. I'm going to let Mike quote mine here because he does a really great job at it. So, Mike, can you do my one-liner for me?
Well, you led into it. I'm so unhappy. Toad Boy wants some sweet meat for his tum.
What is a toad boy?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I don't know.
I don't know where that comes from and why he talks like that. It's just
and he's
dumb.
just Toad Boy. Like everyone's just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's Toad Boy. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't want to know.
I really don't want to know. I don't want to know what sweetmeat is. I don't want to know. It's alarming. So that's my first one. Thank you, Mike. My second one is from Dick. They call me Dick, but you can call me Dick. And that's his pickup line. And I was like, oh my goodness.
I had that one as well. And I also wrote down, like, it's like he's trying to be Andrew Dice Clay, but he's channeling Steve Martin.
Yeah.
He's a lot. And this is where I was like, oh, this is supposed to be a comedy because he was so over the top.
Yeah.
It was so cringy. And I was like, oh, no, like this is where it's a comedy. And then it's not. I don't know. Who knows?
The glasses he wears.
Oh,
the little wiper blades. I love those.
Why are we wearing these glasses? And then he turns to what's her name and is just like, and he makes them work.
Yeah. I loved those. They're so good.
My God.
Mike, did you have any one-liners?
This is where the comedy comes in, where he's down in the basement and he's summoned Asgaroth or whatever it is. And it's pouring rain and he dismisses the demon and it stops raining. And Rebecca from the stairs is like, Jonathan, what are you doing? He's like, Rebecca, you're home early.
I had that one as well. And then afterwards,
And he's just soaked. It's like,
and she's staring there. She's mortified. And then she goes, how do you explain yourself? And then he's like, I got sidetracked. It's so good. I had that one as well.
I got sidetracked.
All right, Chad, do you have any one-liners?
I had what we heard at the beginning. I need to dismiss the spirit. So do I. Where's the bathroom? Yeah. And then my last one was, and it wasn't really the quote that got me. It was the action afterwards. She throws off the necklace that's supposed to save her. And she turns and goes, why, Jonathan? Why? And then just falls down the stairs. Like she just takes a wrong step or what the heck? She just
takes a tumble.
Why, Jonathan? Why? And then down she goes. And I have to admit, I laughed out loud. I was like, what happened? Why did she fall?
I was so confused by the fall because I was writing something down and I looked up. I'm like, I must have missed something. And I went back. I'm like, no, I didn't.
Mine, I have the same quote to Chad, and it's like, why, Jonathan, why? And then dies. That's literally my notes. I was like, what? Okay.
I know. It was so crazy.
All right. Now we are going to go into what doesn't hold up. And fasten your seatbelts, guys. There's a lot. Chad's going to kick us off.
My first one were the special effects with the green eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And there seemed to be like sometimes some notch missing out of the green eye. Like there was a black part on the top part of the eye that just was so, I was like, is there a fly on him? It was just so distracting. It drove me crazy.
It made him look like cross-eyed at times and like looking up and down at the same time. It was like Zeus from the WWF.
And sometimes the green like didn't just stay in the eye, it like came out, like it overshadowed the eye socket.
Yeah.
And then other times you could see the eye, it was just inconsistent and weird. So that was one of them. And then I also had just the overall look of the film. It just looks like an older, cheap movie.
Yeah.
The props and things, it just looks really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
So those were my first two.
First two.
The first two. I have a few.
I also had the narrator. If, and it was kind of a confusing movie, but I don't think we needed to be treated like we were idiots. Like they didn't need to explain anything, but when it starts, the child was saved. or so it seemed. It's like, okay. Like,
and later on when he says, and I had to watch, but I could do nothing.
Until the very end.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, it was really cheesy. I thought it was so.
I got so confused because I forgot that there was the voiceover with the transition from the past to the present. I like that just left my mind. So at 26 minutes in, suddenly there's a voiceover. I'm like, why the fuck is there a narrator?
Yeah.
So then I went back and like, when did we have one before? I was like, oh, and it's funny because this is just how my mind works. The first narrator was 6 to 7 minutes into the film.
Right.
The second was 26 minutes into the film.
Yep.
And the third was 47 minutes in. So at an hour and 7, I'm like, where's my narrator? Like I need it every 20 minutes.
Yeah. Where's the narrator? And then the wine, the look of the wine, it just, it was like just juice.
Obviously juice.
Yes, it was not well done. Mike, did you have some?
Yes, my first one was more, I don't know if it doesn't hold up or just a frustration, but when the woman, when he's in the cult ritual at the beginning and the woman is down in the throes of agony and you see her chest get pressed up by something inside and he's continuing to summon the demons and it cuts back and you see the cracks of blood.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to black as the chest burster scene happens. It's like, how do we not get that scene?
Yeah, I said that. I was like, why did they cut it off here? It's going to be the best part.
Maybe it was too gruesome and they couldn't put it in for the rating they wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It was so frustrating.
I know.
Yeah, I agree.
And then my last doesn't hold up is just the freeze frame at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Where they got away or did they? And then all the ghoulies popped up in the car.
With the family. Yeah. It's like a family. Oh, here we go. And they're all smiling and the ghoulies are like,
yeah. It's like
up in the back. Yeah.
It is super cheesy to end like that. Yeah. The freeze frame. Chad, let's hear some more of yours.
All right. So I had costumes, and this one I had some subcategories here. Costumes.
Oh, okay.
A lot of sweater vests.
Yes.
I don't remember, like I grew up in the 80s. I don't remember wearing a lot of sweater vests as a kid or my parents making me wear these or seeing a lot of people in them where he dresses up for the party and he looks like Don Johnson from Miami Vice. And he's got the skinny tie and the flipped up collar and the neon shirt. And I was hoping he had wicker shoes. But he kept wearing those stupid loafers, those black things that he tarted around in. I thought the priest's robes looked absolutely ridiculous. They looked like a see-through dress that a woman wears to turn you on. Like
I thought it was something out of Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, it just looked so bad. And that stupid glowing symbol, it like flashed when Jonathan picked it up the first time. It's like, and I was like, whoa, what was that? We never see that again. It never glows when he's doing the ritual or anything. It's like, and then done. So that I had, and that wraps up my costume complaints.
Okay.
So I'll stop there because I'm sure you guys have others.
I loved it, but the zapping wizard fight that we were talking about before, it was so funny. They were zapping in different colors, and there's eye zaps, and there's all sorts of zapping going on. I thought it was really cheesy.
Well, and they're just holding each other's neck.
Yeah.
Like they're not even like using their powers to throw people around or anything. They're just holding each other's neck.
So bad, but also so good.
Yeah.
I also said that the corpse of the father rising out of the grave was really cheesy.
Yeah.
Really.
It was like Thriller.
I love that.
You love that?
Did
Well, just you have all the different screaming. So it cuts to like he's screaming, she's screaming, the ghoulies screaming, and then the corpse just.
It was so cheesy.
Did you notice that his makeup changes as like the master ghoul, mega ghoul? I called him in my notes. But did you notice that his makeup changes in almost every scene?
Yes.
Like there's times where he looks like, oh wow, he's really dead, and then he's like, oh, he doesn't look so dead, and then when he goes, kiss me, Jonathan, which was kind of weird.
Kiss me.
I was like, well, he looks even more dead now. Yeah. I don't understand.
So bad. Chad, let's hear some more.
All right. The acting, especially Jonathan, when he does the rituals, he really chews up the scene. He's yelling and screaming and spits flying. And it's ridiculous. I thought it was way, way overdone. Sunglasses at the dinner party were stupid. I have a bit in my research about that. I did like the wiper blade ones, I will say that. And I also liked how the one guy took off one set of sunglasses and he still had another set underneath. It's like, oh shit. And then the puppets,
Yeah,
they
I had
just
the
looked
puppets.
kind of old and run down, and they barely moved. They just popped out of things.
And they were like, just bobbing around a little bit.
The green one made me think of like the chest burster from Aliens, where it's like it was clearly just like a plastic mold and like swiveled, and that's it.
And I love how he comes out of the toilet once, and that's the one they used for the poster.
Yeah.
Like, my last one was the ending. My notes were, why do they live? They were eaten by the Ghoulies, and the Ghoulies are still around. So why did they all heal and come back to life and escape the mansion? That didn't make sense to me.
I had that in my hiding in the shadows because I was like, what?
Isn't there a line that's like, why? What happened? It's like, don't worry about it. Is that from this one, or is that Reanimator, where it's like they just dismiss the...
I can't remember.
I don't think Reanimator, they dismiss it. I think it's this one.
It has to be.
But there's no explanation, which makes sense that it would fall into this film. And she just forgives him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, she's forgotten everything that's happened before, and they're just in the car, and they're like, everything's going to be all right, honey. Oh, good. And then they turn to the camera and just smile, and then those ghoulies pop up. So there were just, weird questions at the end. I didn't understand why all these people that had these gruesome deaths, Dick got strangled by a tongue.
Yeah.
Yes,
for crying out loud.
he did.
And they survived. Like, they just came back. I didn't get it.
There we go. All right. Thanks, Chad, for those. Okay, now we're going to head into our most gratuitous scene. I'm going to kick us off. And my first one was how moist and drooly the Ghoulies are.
No,
It was very over the top.
Moist.
That was mine as well.
I had one of those. I had that as well, yeah.
And then the sex scene where they're getting intimate and there's like the satanic symbols under the bed.
Yeah.
And then it turns really rapey. I thought that was kind of too much.
Oh, where she's like, no.
Yeah. So I had those two were my first two.
The sex scene was kind of rapey.
It was too much. And then she was like, oh, what's that you're saying? He's like chanting, which like clearly he's chanting and being a total weirdo. Yeah. And it went on a little bit too long. So I thought, it gave me the ick for sure. Mike, did you have one?
My gratuitous was the slime/snot of the Ghoulies. I wrote it down where one of them with the more pointy nose, it just has like the biggest, shiniest booger hanging out of its nostril.
Yeah.
It's so
The
gross.
rat one?
Yeah.
It seemed to be like a rat, a cat, and then, I don't know what the bald green one was.
Like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Naked
And there were
Ninja
several
Turtle.
of those green ones.
Yes.
Like it popped out of the bubbling
I love those
water.
ones. They're my favorite. When more came, I was like, yes.
That's why they're on the poster.
That's right.
Chad, did you have some?
I know it didn't hold up, but I had the green eyes. Because they were so poorly done, they were very distracting.
They were.
So
Yeah.
anytime it happened, I was just, again? Like, why are we green eyeing all the time?
And we're trying to figure out like what that is. Like, I don't know what they used for that. Did anyone find that in the research?
I couldn't find anything.
Because it was kept trying. I'm like, are they contacts? Is it an after effect? Like the first scene looks like an after effect that they've added on.
I think it's an editing tool they use that just doesn't work.
So bad.
Because if it were contacts, it wouldn't have bled over into other parts of the eye. It would have just stayed around like inside the eye. But because it was a special effect, it just kind of hovers.
I don't understand why the eyes were. It was very off.
I don't know why they had to be green
To show his power.
But wouldn't they be red? It's the devil.
Devil man.
It's green eyes.
They saved the red for the zapping scene at the end.
That's right.
Say about that. And my last one was just the satanic symbols. They really hit you over the head with.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere, all over the house, all over the walls. So everywhere.
What I love is she's concerned about his obsession. She's seen the satanic symbols. She's seen the book. He cleans up the medallion in the weirdest way possible, and then gives it to her as a gift after like renovating the house. Shouldn't that be a big red flag for her when she opens the book box and there's a satanic symbol on it. And instead she's like, oh, it's beautiful. And she wears it for most of the rest of the film until she finally throws it off and dies.
Until it's convenient to the story that she doesn't wear it.
Right. Yeah.
So weird.
Like he says, never take it off. It'll protect you.
Yeah.
And then okay. And then she tosses it off like she's tossing off a bunch of cobwebs. It's just really dramatic. Pulling her arms around and stuff. And then she throws it away. And it's like, is it burning you? I don't understand.
Why? All right, now we're going to move into our terrifying or titillating. Chad, do you have anything?
Nothing was terrifying. So the closest thing to titillating was the blonde that seduces Mr. Dick.
Oh, yeah.
She was attractive and calls him down. And I love how there's just no questions. Yeah. Like, he's just like this random, who are you? And she's like, come here. Okay. Mr. Dick's a lucky man or something like that. I can't remember what he said. So this is the closest thing I had to anything kind of titillating. There was nothing terrifying about this film.
No, not at all.
No.
I had one. I just didn't know where to put this. I thought it was kind of funny. The little green Ghoulies had like 12 packs. Like,
they were super ripped.
And they had nipples. Yeah. I just thought it was so funny. I was like, they're ripped. They're ripped little guys. I don't know.
They're buff.
It's not terrifying, not titillating for me, but for someone out there, maybe.
Dude's jacked.
They were. All right. Now we're going to look at what stood the test of time. Chad, can you start us off?
Sure. So my first stood the test of time, and I don't know, I just thought it was hilarious. The little people fighting the puppet. Like they just go full out on it, and then I said the little people in general, anytime they're on the screen, I got a kick out of them.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping for some more comedic banter between the two or something. If this is a comedy horror,
I thought that'd be kind of cool if they did that. Yeah.
My stood the test of time. I know you guys talked about it earlier. The clown doll.
Yeah.
I just think the clown doll was creepy in general. Like, yes, I didn't like where the ghoulie pops out, like the arm through it. I thought that was really cheesy and the effects were terrible. But just clown dolls in general, super creepy.
Yeah.
Mike, did you have one?
My only test of time is Mariska Hargitay as Donna.
Oh, the Law and Order Special Victims Unit actress? Yeah.
I just put she stands the test of time just because her career has this is her film debut. Yeah. And then she's gone on to so much, but also she's this running thing in my head ever since Love Guru, because Mike Myers' character, his tantric greeting to everybody is Mariska Hargitay. Mariska Hargitay. And then he says it to Mariska Hargitay in the movie. So now every time I see her, I just think of the Love Guru, Mariska Hargitay. So she's my test of time.
Just her. All right. Now we're going to head into eerie to ear splitting. Mike, what do you got?
I think the opening credits is what tainted the rest of my view of this movie, because it was just so frustrating. Because I was just it sounds like something you'd hear at a carnival or in a fun house or something. Yeah. And so I started this movie thinking it would be a horror, not a fun romp. And so it was just that incongruity with what I wanted to what the music was. And then it just didn't settle me for the rest of the film. It just threw me off for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Chad, you had a couple.
My ear splitting, it's all ear splitting. There's no eerie. It was the monster noises. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just over and over and over again. I was just, every time they show one of them, that sound happens.
The same one,
I just thought that was a bit much. And then to hop on Mike's bandwagon there, the music is very 80s and not scary.
Yeah.
It was just kind of so I was like, ooh, this is not the show I thought it was going to be. So
Mike, you've seen the other movies.
Yeah.
I was reading that the Ghoulies start talking later. Do they?
Oh,
I don't know.
Can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah. Awesome. So I was like, so with those noises, which, I agree, were very ear splitting, but it'd be kind of cool if they start talking or develop language throughout the 4 or whatever. All right. Now we're going to look at the what the fuck moments from this film. And I feel there's quite a few. So some of the things that made me say, what the fuck, were the little people appearing. That was I was like, what? What the fuck? Yeah. Okay. Doing a ritual at a party. Like they're having a good time. It's like, let's do a ritual. They're not playing beer pong. They're not they're not doing anything else. Let's go do a ritual.
And he gets
yells at
super mad when they don't listen. She screams screams. He's like, shut up.
And like, can you just like imagine your friend takes you down to the basement and starts doing this creepy ass ritual, and they're like I'd be laughing too, but also red flag on the friend. I wouldn't be coming for a second dinner party.
Yeah.
Or I just
have another.
All right, you're going to yell at me like a child. Fuck you, I'm out of here.
Yeah, bye. I'm gone. Mike, did you have some what the fuck moments?
My first one was more just like a continuity error. I don't know, but it was frustrating. When he reaches for his beer and starts to take a sip, you see the camera from below and the book falls open to draw his attention to it. And there was no book there. So it was just like a weird, I was just like, what the fuck? Like if you're going to like entrap us in some way or entrap your character, at least don't make it like that obvious that it's a weird setup. I don't know. It threw me off. And then my other what the fuck was just because I didn't know where to put it. The corpse popping out of the grave. Because it wasn't really a what the fuck. It was just like a wah.
Yeah, you love that scene.
I really did.
Chad, how about you?
I had the narrator.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he started talking, I was like, what? We have a narrator? Like, what the fuck's going on here? And my second one was the Mega Ghouls walk. Every time he walked, he had his hands crossed like he was, the stereotypical
Dracula.
Casket Dracula. Yeah.
Right.
And he walked everywhere like that. I was like, why is he walking like that? And it's almost gratuitous. I was just, why is that happening? And he always did it. Or if ever he took his hands down, it was like, oh, I forgot. And he put his hands back again. And I stop fucking doing that.
Oh, that's funny. My other what the fuck moments were the tongue strangle.
Oh,
What the
What? That was weird. Yeah,
that was super weird. And then him withdrawing from school after like one day. He's like, I've decided to withdraw from school and just focus on the house. And it's been like a day.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were a couple more of mine. Now we're going to head into our back it up moments. I'm the only one who had to back it up for this one.
Yeah,
and
you are.
Why?
I thought it was so funny. So he gets dumped by his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then it splits to the next scene. I don't even know if this is a back it up. I just wanted to talk about it because it was hilarious. So he gets dumped and then it cuts to the next scene and it's just him zapping shit in the basement. He's like all over the place. I thought it was so funny because he's always in the basement. He's not fussed at all. He's just
zapping shit in the basement.
But it was so funny. So that was the one scene I was like, oh, that's hilarious. It just not fussed at all.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole thing. All right, let's take a look at what was hiding in the shadows. Chad, do you want to start us off?
Yeah. Why do the little people betray Mega Ghoul for Jonathan?
Yeah, I was very confused about that.
Like at the end, they're like, no, it's a trap, Jonathan. And then you will burn later. And then he just goes right on. And the little guys are just standing next to him. But I didn't know why they did that. And if this was all just, a bad dream or whatever, like if they're all getting better, why did the Ghoulies stick around?
Right.
Why are they there when everything else disappeared and was destroyed?
Yeah. Well, and I
set back to the way it was.
I didn't understand the ending. Like it's just over and everyone's good.
Right.
They all woke up in their like little cloaks and they're like, okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
So that was really confusing to me. And then another thing that I had questions about were like, what are the Ghoulies? Like, and what is the purpose of them? Because all they do is just bob around and like make the weird noises. And then obviously at the end they kill some people. But for the majority of the film, they're just hanging out. They're just chilling in his house, just watching him do things and
he even says
watching him zap shit in the basement. Like,
I love when he's reading and that one's just like sitting on the armrest, just like.
Yeah, they're just
watching.
chilling.
Yeah, I know.
They
seem like little pets. Yeah.
Little
And
creepy.
he calls them his children, says, just be around the house, but don't be seen by anybody.
Yeah.
And then they
Very
just kinda,
convenient.
they just creep around.
And then how did I understand they're wearing sunglasses at the dinner party, but like when they're in the roast and the soup, like how did they not see the Ghoulies?
Oh, I know. Yeah. When they pop out of all their food.
Yeah, that was weird.
I don't know what's going on there.
And then I think the rat one was like chewing a tomato or something. And it was like, it was like,
Well, the
just made
green
him
one
moister.
comes right out of the clam chowder. It's just like, if that's what it was milky. So I assumed.
I had no idea what that was.
That's his one move, coming out of any liquid.
Any liquid, yeah. He likes the water. Yeah.
He does look amphibious, so it makes sense. Chad, did you have some more?
Where did the old wizard come from, and why is he suddenly so powerful in good magic? Like, I know he was from the beginning to save the child, but we don't see anything where he was a Satanist. Like, he was part of the cult.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden he's this good wizard that can save his life.
And he is Wolfgang, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
okay,
the
okay.
same guy, because he keeps mentioning, I couldn't do anything, I couldn't do it.
Right.
And then he appears and throws a trident from the top of the stairs that was clearly dropped at the bottom.
You got to get a run up on that. So he went and picked it up. And then
Did he hover it up? Because he was still at the top of the stairs and he just hucks it at the guy.
Maybe, because they do have like Force-esque powers, because he does do the choke you from across the room.
That's right, he does that.
It was a little some Star Wars
Star
Jedi
Wars-y,
shit
yeah.
as well
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
And the last thing I said is, Father says, kiss me so I can suck your youth. I was like, what?
Yeah. I had questions.
Oh, no.
My last one, and I might have missed something. What was the horrible death that killed him? So they talk about, it was a horrible death that the father had. How did they kill that guy? Because he's like pretty satanic and pretty up there. Did I miss the cause of death or?
No, because the baby gets taken out of the ritual.
Yeah.
And then doesn't he just disappear? It looks like he just disappears, doesn't he? I can't actually remember.
I don't
that
know
part
either.
This is so sad. I didn't write that down, but no.
Tragedy. Okay.
I didn't see a tragic death.
Sorry, I'm just watching all he does is scream, and then it cuts to the last we see the dad is he does the chest burster out of the mom.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it cuts to black, and then the movie goes on. So yeah, we're never shown any.
How did he die? He's supposed to be like a satanic leader. And he.
Yeah, we don't know.
And they're all his followers. The only thing is she just didn't want to kill the baby. So
Yeah.
What a bitch.
How dare she?
fuck, man. You
Not
got one
dedicated.
job.
You're
We're
not
gonna have a
dedicated.
kid so he can have eternal youth. And then you're like, no. All of a sudden you're changing the rules.
All right, now we're going to head into our bonus features. Mike, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I just have the financial information. The budget on this movie was a surprising $5.5 million.
Ooh.
So Chad, you talked about it like it looked cheap and bad, and I don't know where that money went.
Not into special effects or acting.
No.
And not the costumes.
And not the costumes, no.
All the slime.
The slime and ooze.
But the box office, a shocking $35 million.
Whoa!
Oh, that's crazy.
Holy crap. That's out of hand.
That was too much. Chad, did you have one?
Yeah, so mine was to the when I mentioned about the sunglasses at the dinner. Apparently, it was supposed to be they were going to shoot it in 2D and 3D. The audience would put their glasses on every time the characters put their sunglasses on, and the film would change from 2D to 3D. After 2 days of filming in 3D, they changed their minds due to the complexity of the filming in 2D and 3D. And this is why there are so many scenes where the characters are wearing sunglasses.
Yeah, but it's interesting because even though the scenes with sunglasses are supposed to be 3D, unlike Jaws and Friday the 13th, they're not hamming up the 3D to camera.
No, they're not shooting a ghoulie at you.
Yeah.
Or
Although
like,
I would have loved that. The little green guy launching at the screen.
jumps out at you. Or the
Doing
lightning.
flips. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. I actually had one about the movie posters. So we talked about why is the one ghoulie. There's one scene
Oh,
of it
yeah.
in the toilet. Why is it there? The movie posters actually freaked kids out and made them scared to use toilets. So they actually had like a whole bunch of angry moms writing letters to the studio about it because their kids were terrified to use the toilet.
I'm trying to potty train
The green
my
guy
son.
thinks there's a ripped green character coming out. Mike, did you have another one?
Yeah, I found from Screen Rant, it was the word ghoulie actually translates to small monster in the Persian language.
Yeah, I read that too.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with ghouls and goblins or demons. It's just
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Chad.
Yeah, so I had the scream let loose by Donna was a stock sound effect. Mariska Hargitay has a naturally deep husky voice and could not produce the scream loud or high pitched enough for the liking of the director.
Yeah.
So
I had that one as well.
dubbed
Yeah.
her in, yeah.
Just had two more. One was just Jonathan Graves, who's supposed to be in his early to mid 20s, was played by a 34-year-old Peter Liapis.
That makes sense, yeah.
And then Michael DeBars, who plays his father, is only a year older than he is.
Oh, cool.
But I mean, the age, because the dad died.
Yep.
Yeah.
Earlier,
So
so-
he would
Yeah.
be youthful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
that makes
justify-
sense, yeah.
Did you know that Michael DeBars was also popular in MacGyver?
No.
He was Murdoch. He was
Oh, what?
MacGyver's like super nemesis.
Awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
That's great. And my last one is just an Easter egg connecting to our other 1985 film. And that's that Jeffrey Combs, who plays with Dr. West in Reanimator, almost played Jonathan Graves in this film.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And I would say for his career, he lucked out.
He picked
the
the right.
right
He
one.
got the right one. Yeah.
All right, Chad, did you have any more?
So just one other thing. In 1986, there's a movie called Critters.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we review that one, but we do one of them.
I think we're doing Critters 3.
Okay.
That's very specific.
So the bad one. As good as Critters was, it has a scene where a critter comes out of the toilet, and that was to pay homage to this film.
All right, we're going to finish off here with our watchability scale. Mike's going to give his rating first.
So despite my desire to have this film end earlier and just rushing through the end because I just didn't have any more of it, I can't give it a 1 because of the fun parts and the fun aspects of it, but it's not great. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's fun. It's enjoyable with the right crowd. It's a good watch, but not by yourself.
No.
Expecting a serious film in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
I think I'd have to do something similar. I was going between a 2.5 and a 3. I'm going to leave it at a 2.5. I thought it was just a fun watch. If you had a good group of people, a couple drinks, I think it'd be so fun to rip the movie apart. So 2.5.
I think there are other movies that you could watch to rip apart with your buddies. I mean, I think the only way to watch this film is with a group. I would say don't seek it out if you're on your own. It's like if you're having a Halloween party and everybody's getting hammered or other things, then say, hey, let's watch Ghoulies. Otherwise, stay away. So I gave it a 2.
All
right, nice. Thank you very much for listening to us. Remember to follow us on Instagram. We are at ScreamStreamPod. Stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and a page where you can recommend movies that you want us to discuss. And please rate, comment on, and subscribe to our show on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Sam and
Mike.
and
Chad.
scare you later.